What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of History in the Writing. Local author Gennaro Lombardi coming on here to do a crazy video today. My videos, which I usually do in the beginning of the week, is I usually do car-related trivia questions based upon some of the topics in my book, because I am the author of the first book, self-help book ever written for road rage, called Road Rage at its Finest, on Amazon. And if you get the trivia questions right, I give you $10 gift certificates to Starbucks. But in today's video, and more towards the end of the week, which I do, I'm going to try to make 2-3 videos a week here, is I'm going to be making self-help videos based upon some of the topics in my book. And today it's, of course, going to be towards the road rage, and the videos are called My Top 5 Ways. I mean by when I say my top 5 ways is I do videos such as like top 5 ways on how to save on gas in your car, top 5 ways on how to avoid getting pulled over, top 5 ways on how to avoid not getting a ticket if you do get pulled over, how to deal with the police, and things like that. Top 5 ways on how to get out of a road rage altercation, and many other different topics that my books go over. So in today's video, we're going to do top 5 ways on how to avoid getting into an accident. How to avoid that completely and save some lives here, because what I truly believe is that when this quarantine over and everybody's allowed to finally come out of hibernation all at once, not is there only going to be total pandemonium on the road and there's going to be a lot of road rage, but the rate of accidents is going to increase by a great percentage, and I want to try to avoid that at all costs. So that's what we're going to go over today. So before we start, I always say, there's going to be a link below. Please check out my books on Amazon and lulu.com, which is a self-publishing website. Check out The Road Rage, my bestseller, the officially published one for The Road Rage. I go over topics like this. And the other 4, Range and Topics, which is a 7-week chakra meditation enhancement seminar, my philosophy book, and my second bestseller, which has sold over 600 to 700 copies, my Italian Lessons 101, which is just 101 motivational quotes by Italians. So check those books out, please. Every little bit helps. And I'm going to be doing more giveaways too, so stay tuned. Tip number 1 out of top 5 ways on how to avoid getting into accident. Usually in these cases, I try to save the best for last, but I'm going to do the most important one first, because if you don't make it through the rest of the video, at least you're going to take this bit of information and it could save your life. And tip number 1 is trust no one. And what I mean by that is, it's oftentimes that we believe that somebody's going to do something else on the road, and then we still get into an accident because we think they're going to turn that way. We believe this, or we trusted that they're going to do something, trusted that they were going to do something else that they were supposed to do, and they're not going to. And here's the example that I'm going to give you. You're driving down the road, you're coming up to a four-way intersection, and there's a street light at that intersection. You have the green to go, but at the light, you have to make a left, okay? So as you're coming up to the light, you're going to make the left, and somebody's coming towards you that has their right blinker on. So it looks, so you're going straight, and they're going to make a right. So you say to yourself in your head, well, I can make the left before them. They're making a right anyway, so I'm going to beat them to the punch. But when you go to make the left, they don't make the right turn, even though they have a right blinker on, and they keep going straight, and they plow right into you, because you trusted that they were going to actually make that right. It goes like this, is that people don't even know where they are half the times. Never mind are they on their phones, never mind are they, in another realm. They don't know that their blinker's on. They don't know that. You can't trust that situation that they're actually going to make that turn unless you literally see them hit their brakes, come to an almost halting stop, and actually start to maneuver their car into the turn. Because if they're coming down the road 25 miles an hour and they just have their blinker on, most likely they're just going to keep going straight. So that's what I say is trust no one. Tip number 2, and this is a cheap and simple one, and it could save a lot of lives: maintain your lamps. Your headlights, your brake lights, and especially your blinkers. Well, the brake lights are the most important. Headlights at night, especially headlights at night, but your brake lights are the most important at day or night. And then the blinkers, so you could give people enough time to judge or do what's proper when you're coming their way and they're coming your way. If your lights aren't working properly, a cop's going to pull you over and give you a ticket, and he has every right to, because the lamps are the most important part of your car. besides the horn, letting people know that you're there if they're coming that way, because if they can't see you, that's how you're gonna eventually kill somebody and take their life. Because same situation happened to me. I was involved in a bad motorcycle accident in 2004. Almost lost my foot going through an intersection at night. Right in front of Dunkin' Donuts in my town, and did see the guy coming from far away because he had no headlights on at night. So there you go. Almost lost my foot, and that's a prime example of just, and he didn't even need to maintain his lamps. He should have just remembered to turn them on. So that's just another thing too. So make sure you please always check your lamps, maintain your lamps, and so on and so forth. Tip number 3, maintain the god darn speed limit. And I truly mean that, man. Like me and some friends have talked about, is that if you're driving down the New Jersey Turnpike, down, through like Rawway and stuff like that, and past the Newark airport, people are literally racing with the planes that are taking off. They're doing pretty much a steady 95 to 105 miles an hour, and even if I do 95, people are still passing me. So the higher the rate of speed, the greater the casualty in that accident. So if people just drove 25 miles per hour or 55 miles per hour, literally, if that's what everybody did, and we still had the same amount of people on the road, where it's 300 million Americans, and basically about 50% of them drive, the rate of accidents would still be just as great, but the casualties would decrease by 50%. Because people don't know how to drive. There's always going to be accidents, but when you're speeding and that accident happens, that's when lives get taken. Where are you going, man? Were you in a rush, like most people, to pay your bills and all that stuff, and then, to save a few minutes, and then next thing you know, you end up in a hospital laying on your deathbed because you were in a rush, So it doesn't pay, speed doesn't pay. I could go over how many times I've been in that situation. Yeah, I love to speed too, of course, and I literally take it as a personal insult when people pass me on the road. Like, where are you going? Why are you passing me? I'm already doing 95. Where do you think you're going? So the only thing I could say truly to avoid not only getting into an accident, because the faster you go, the harder it is to stop, the harder it is to make accurate judgments when you are speeding, because people come up on you instantaneously when you're doing 100 miles per hour. They could be 2 miles away and it goes like that. So that's the biggest thing. So if you literally are maintaining your speed, not only will you avoid an accident, you could avoid a severe casualty. So that's tip number 3. Right, tip 4 is maintain or always adjust your mirrors in your car. If you get into a vehicle, if it's not a new one, and you have an old junk box like myself, a 1987 Ford F-150, they're not as luxurious, so when you sit in that nice new Mercedes-Benz, you just press a button, the seat adjusts your ass to where it needs to be, and the rear view mirrors adjust to, driver 1 or 2, whether it's your wife, she's a smaller person, or the husband is a bigger guy. So that's one thing you always need to do, is make sure your mirrors are maintained and clean, especially in the rain, foggy days. People don't want to clear off their snow. If you're driving and you have a little bit of a blind spot and you try to go through an intersection, or the biggest one is you're driving down the highway and somebody's next to you and you can't see them, that's when people, you see them spin around, they get fishtailed, they hit the guardrail. Seen it happen a million times. Happens all the time. So that's the biggest thing, and not only that, not only should you have your mirrors adjusted so you can see where you are, but don't be afraid to turn around and look, because I see people, they drive, especially old people, and they look like they're frozen and they're locked up when they're driving. You can't see what they're doing. You gotta get up next to people, and I beep at them, I'm like, yo, I'm right here, and they don't look, like their eyes are just like they're stuck. They're having an anxiety attack literally as they're driving. So don't be that guy, man. Like, literally, don't be that person. Turn around before practice. Put your arm over the seat like you're gonna back up the car. Look, stretch. Do whatever you have to do to be able to physically move, so you can see where you have to be in your car and in your vehicle at all times, and know your surroundings. Know who's around you when you're driving. So that's the only tip I got for that one. And the other big one is, if you're driving, right, and you're behind a Mack truck, a big tractor trailer and stuff like that, you have to remember that when you're coming up next to that guy, now you have to think about the other drivers too. How can they see me? Am I in their blind spot? If it says it usually on the back of big trucks, you're never supposed to pass them on the right side because they can't see, it's a bigger blind spot. But not only that, but if you can't see their eyes in the rear view mirror, like when he's up there and he's driving in the big truck and you're trying to get behind him, if you look in that side view mirror and you can't see his eyes, he can't see you. And that is going to cause a huge accident. You're going to end up underneath that truck and you're going to end up dead. So you always need to try to look out for that, especially even if it's just a car or another big truck, just a guy in a big Dodge Ram 2500, but especially the tractor trailers. Look for his eyes first before you ever try to go around and pass that guy. And if you take my advice on this, it's going to save your life someday. So that's tip number 4. All right, and tip number 5 is please always be consciously aware. And what I mean by that is this. Most accidents happen usually within 2 miles of the house because people are on autopilot. They just get in their car and they do their usual trip to Dunkin' Donuts to work, which is usually most people actually work close to home. And they get in the car and they back up and they're not even looking because they've done it a million times. They don't expect somebody to be there. And then they run over somebody because the last 1,000 times they backed out of the driveway, nobody was there. And now today there's a guy walking a dog or somebody driving down the street. And I've almost done that myself a bunch of times too. You just get in the car and just go and stuff like that. So that's a big one, is being consciously aware. Make sure you're fully awake when you get into your car. Always be aware of your surroundings, especially if you think you know the area, you've done it. Tomorrow somebody's going to be there when there wasn't nobody there the last 1,000 times. And being consciously aware also means don't be texting and driving because, energy goes where focus goes. So if you're looking down, literally all it takes is about 2 seconds for you to keep looking down and you're going to be on the curb or in the telephone pole on the back of a parked car. Seen it happen. Was walking down the street. Lady just, 2 kids in the back seat too, and she drove right into the back of a parked car, just not even paying attention. Nobody else on the road, just smack. Not consciously aware of where she was going. She wasn't falling asleep, broad daylight. Just her mind wasn't there. I don't know what happened. Maybe she was on the phone. I don't know. But everybody ran up, and thankfully she was all right. And this was a long time ago too. This is like 10, 15 years ago. So just always be consciously aware. Have your coffee before you get in the car. Slap yourself in the face a few times, and just be prepared, man. It's a war. It's a war out there. It really is. If you're sleeping, somebody's gonna come up behind you, and you're not gonna see him, and boom, that's it. You always have to be consciously aware of everything that's going around you all the times when you're in that vehicle, because it's not only gonna save somebody else's life, it's gonna save your life, which is the most important one. So that's it. That's all I got. So thanks again for tuning into my channel. Or come back on Mondays for more giveaways for the Starbucks gift cards and car-related trivia questions. And within the next month, I actually hope to be doing a very big giveaway to AutoZone, maybe like a $50 gift certificate to AutoZone so you could get your oil changed for new people that purchased the ebook on for my road rage at its finest, because I was doing good for the last couple of months. So for every new e-download, I'm going to be putting it into like all the receipts into a container, and then after I get like 100 buys, then I'll do like a raffle type thing and give them a $50 gift certificate. So thanks again. Please, thanks again coming to my channel. Please always drive safe. It could save your life. It could save somebody else's life. And that's it. That's all I got. See you soon.